I was gonna say a low probability of it being hacked, but it just shut that. It ended that video as I was saying that. So this phone is more than likely hacked at this point, which would mean it didn't matter if I had it on me or not. The only reason they would want me to leave it here is so they can get to it to plant somewhere. They'll consistently hack your devices, and if you throw them away, you got to be aware that they're going to claim that device. What I mean is they're going to retrieve that device, and they will plant that. They'll do shit with it, and then they'll plant it somewhere at some point in order to frame you. I've had a duffel bag of mine planted someplace in order to frame me. They've claimed to be framing me for all kinds of shit. I mean, literally, the list is endless. It's all predominantly to make me afraid. But you got to be aware while this is happening to you, they're never going to do anything to expose themselves. So the specific people who did this to you, there's not going to be anything related to them that's going to pop up later, unless they really make you look insane. But more than likely, it's not. Your family has nothing to do with this. They have no fucking idea this is happening to you unless you're aware that they were in this type of work. You could try going deaf. I've never heard of anybody who went deaf during this thing, but I imagine if you can make yourself sufficiently deaf, you wouldn't hear the remote monitoring. I debate doing that constantly. I don't know if I can personally. I think in order to go sufficiently deaf, I imagine you'd have to disable. You have to injure past the actual eardrum because of what they show the science to be on how the Frey effect and how this would work. That would probably fuck up your equilibrium. I'm not recommending anybody do that. I'm just throwing out possibilities here. So yeah, right now they want me to go somewhere without having my fucking phone on me. They want me to go somewhere I cannot be seen, and they want me to not be aware of how I got there or where I am. If I meet those three criteria, they'll set up some kind of situation in which I'll probably either be framed or I'll disappear forever. Yeah. They want you to believe that everything you're experiencing is being recorded and people are going to witness. There's some validity to that. If you go to tiwatch.org, I believe it is, they humiliate a bunch of people on there. There's all kinds of burner websites and YouTube accounts and shit where they upload videos that they take in after hacking somebody's, like, say, their laptop. So that you have your laptop up, right? And you have a webcam on your laptop. Well, you have no idea, but the laptop is actually recording you. And you won't know that until your targeting is complete, you're fucking dead or in prison, and then they start uploading videos of you. And while you're dead or in prison, they're just showing they don't do it to, like, I mean, I imagine to some extent they probably show other people, like family members, like, hey, look at this dude's laptop, look at a piece of shit he's been, blah, he's a slob or whatever the fuck, he's an alcoholic or he's a drug addict or whatever the fuck they try to do to dishearten and humiliate that guy. Those you might show to their family members and whatnot. But more importantly, they need to do that in order to manipulate people into being quiet and to show other TIs, like, hey, if you don't get with the fucking program, the same shit's going to happen to you. A good example of this is the people who were targeting me had an account called the Chief Handler, blah, blah, blah. Chief Handler despises the poor. Chief Handler this, Chief Handler that. They kept changing the name, and the obvious reason to change the name is to make it so when people post these links to law enforcement that they weren't able to follow the link because the URL would have changed. So eventually that account got taken down because people reported it because it was doxing people. But all the people it was doxing were people who are experiencing the same symptoms I am that are being targeted, and they do that in order as a fear, the element of fear, in order to humiliate you, fuck up your life, maybe cost you a job or some shit. And also in order to make you afraid. Like, okay, look, these people know where you live. They're doing this out in the open, even though it's covertly done in order to not have anybody held responsible. And they just consistently do this shit over and over and over again until, the desired result is rendered. There's countless fucking accounts everywhere randomly, and the only people who would really find them are people who are being targeted because they'll make you aware. Like, I posted a video where I talked about this for the first time that had, like, maybe, I don't know, fucking 8 views, 12 views, 30-something views before, and I didn't know any of the coded language or any of the language that was related to targeting. I didn't even know targeting existed. I didn't know what it was called. I heard about it before, but I didn't believe that shit was real. People would try to tell me it was happening to them, and I didn't put the pieces together. until it happened to me and realized, oh shit, this is real. But I didn't know the terminology because none of the people I spoke with knew that it was called targeting, remote neural monitoring, V2K, gang stalking, any of that shit. So the Chief Handler account posts on my account. The Chief Handler account starts saying shit to me, specifically tailored to me information, like that I would hear and be like, oh, and connect the dots and be like, these are the people who are doing this to me. These are the people remote neural monitoring me. Anyways, yeah, they need you afraid. They need you afraid to get you to do it. They need you in pain. If they can't get you to do anything out of fear, then they're gonna torture you until you do it. That's pretty much it. You can't really do much about it. There's no branch of law enforcement that's gonna help you. Nobody's gonna identify what's happening to you as real. It'll almost never be your family involved. They want you to believe your family's aware that you're being tortured, but there's no way, because they have to do this to other people, and they're doing it to millions of people currently as I speak. It's happening to millions. Most people don't know what's happening to them. They die or go to prison before they know anything about it. They don't live long enough to understand that what's happening to them is like being manufactured. A lot of people will end up doing mass shootings or robberies, violent crimes, all kinds of shit because this is happening to them, and they won't even know that they'll be fed some dialogue of bullshit. Like they just randomly start hearing a voice, and then they decide, fuck it, the voice tells them, hey, you're gonna shoot up blah blah blah. You're gonna stop an earthquake if you shoot people. You're gonna fucking there's a terrorist attack that's gonna happen here that you need to intervene, or you have to kill this guy because this guy's whatever fucking psychobabble bullshit. And even if the fucking targeted person doesn't believe it, you're gonna get tortured to such a degree that you're gonna do whatever you need to do to stop the pain. Fucking so many people will never know. Like literally, there is no way to know how many millions of people have been killed by this. All this is going to be pawned off on mental health. Nobody's going to believe this is happening. And maybe like in 80 years from now, whatever the landscape of the world looks like, some of this shit will get declassified. But even then, it'll be declassified in such a way that people won't know what happened to people like me or a couple of my friends. Anyways, yeah, if you see this video, if you're targeted and you're experiencing this shit right now, best of luck. I pray you make it out. I pray something changes. But this video is really just a primer to get you prepared. If I were you, if you're trying to live, save money. Save up as much money as you can. Hold a job as long as you can. Be aware that they're going to torture you until you get with the fucking program and do whatever the fuck they suggest. If you're in some form of this where you're not actually being remote neural monitored or hit with fucking DEWs or microwave weapons or RF harassment or any of that shit, and you're just being gang stalked, I recommend you get the fuck out. You try to move far away and get away from the situation you're in. Yeah, that's pretty much it. If this is happening to you right now, God bless you. I pray for you. I pray for your families. I hope this doesn't happen to anybody you know. Yeah.